Alright, as I said, I'll be working on the body next. Here I have it mounted on the vise, and I wanted to show you some of the tools I'll be working with here. My Denny veiner, my 1/4 inch veiner, which I really like a lot, and that I'll be using to outline around the arm and to undercut that a little bit. Then I have a little stubby handle 3/4, I guess it's a number 3, and it's relieved back here a little bit. I also have this guy, which is about the same. That's a little wider. It's a 1 inch, but it's the same sweep. But it's all flat here, so sometimes in a tight corner you can't get where you want to go. And I kind of like short handles on my tools. Then I have a number 7, about a 5/8 gouge. That lets me take off quite a bit of material quickly. And using the Stanley knife also, that's good for undercutting and kind of setting in some of the lines. And of course pencil, so I'm marking as I go. So as I said, this tool I'll be using around here to set in the arm. And what I really want to do here is get the arm flushed out, establish the amount of depth that I want, so I know where the body is, the plane that the body's in. I want to remember that there's a little bit of flare here. If you look at the drawing, the bottom of his jacket flares out, the belt's pulled in, so I want to make sure that I leave that here and that I start to cut in the right amount there. The other thing I want to do at the same time is establish, the roundness of the body, the curve. I don't want it to look like a square block when I'm done. And I'm doing the same with the arm. As I go, I'm kind of rounding and undercutting it just a little bit, just to give the shadow and make it look like it's even more round than it is, because it's stuck to the body. The other thing is I want to get at least some sort of rough idea of the hand, the fingers, where they're going to go, and the outline, the size of it, so I don't take off too much in my excitement, and then I can't put it back on. The other thing I realized as I started rounding over the body, especially in this area, is that I need to keep checking the head here, because once I start shaping the body, some of this material that has to be removed for the head to fit better is going to happen automatically. So I want to make sure that I don't take too much, and then I have a different gap where I don't want it. So basically this head has to go in this direction, so I have to be removing material down this way, but I think the best thing is to keep testing it and fitting it and make sure that I don't go too far with it. What I want to do now is get the other side to the same level of carving that this one is, so I'll just simply flip it around and tighten it up, and I can work on it. And if I want to get a different angle, I can just turn it around this way and work on it like that. And then if you notice right here, I have a hole that's obviously at 90 degrees to this one, so I can just remove it and turn it again, so when I want to work on the front and the back. And here's a little handle I made with a hole and a slot, and this fits right over the end of this, and that gives me a little more torque to tighten this up. If I need to, I can get in here with my big old wrench and really tighten that up. You'll notice that I'm not wearing gloves right now, and in some cases I'm not wearing the gloves because I'm not really doing any carving, and I'm just, for the purposes of the video, I have the glove off. But when the work is in the vise, I can either have both hands on the tool, which is going to help my hands to be free of any damage there. In this case, you see I have my thumb on here to kind of guide it, but it's still behind the tool. So my rule is to always think about, if that tool continued in the direction it was going, is my hand in front of it? And it shouldn't be. So as long as I'm behind it like this, I don't feel the need to wear a glove. When I'm holding the work in my hand and carving it, then I definitely would wear a glove. So right now is the point, once I have kind of where the arm is going to be. Now is the point that I want to indicate those fingers and the hand, so I don't, accidentally lop something off that I don't want removed. When I rough this out, there's a big bulge right here, and that is because that's not for the belt. That's actually because the hands on the side drawing, that creates that big bump here that's all the way across. So I've got to remove all this material. I put the belt buckle in just to show where it's going to be, but I'm going to have to redraw it. But that belt buckle is going to be farther back. It's going to be back in this plane, so I got to take off probably almost a 1/4 inch here, quite a bit. I want to show you what I did here. I've removed quite a bit of this, the high area in here. It's a good tool for that. That's about a number 3 sweep, number 1, and I can just hang on to this part of it and really control my cut here. It's great to have the vise so I can hold it steady. And like I said before, I'm going to leave this edge because I want that much there, and I'm going to go in from there toward the belt. But I want to leave enough so that the raised belt buckle has a plane to exist in. And I knew when I carved it off, I'm going to be like, oh, what happened to my belt buckle? So what I did before I carved it, I went up here into the area where I knew I wasn't going to be touching right now. I made 2 marks that were the original width of the belt, the width of the buckle, and then I made a couple over here and over here, just trying to stay away from that area when I was carving. So now what I can do is just extend these down, okay, and get it back. So now what I want to do is cut out this area and remove material from here down to where the belt's going to be. And then eventually we have to cut out this center part, and we have to make sure that we allow for the little tang there that goes through the belt. So that actually needs to be the highest part. Okay, so before I do any more here, I'm going to remove some of this belt level, so that's one level, then take a little of this off, but I can do that later. Once I have, as long as I have this whole square left, then I can leave this, remove a little bit, and then I can go in and remove this. And this part right here, remember, has to be down to the same level. That's all belt going through there. Now if I remove these lines shaping the body, it doesn't matter because I've transferred it down here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to, just say to take a tool, some kind of a V tool is best, and say, okay, this is where my belt's going to go, somewhere in here. Okay, and then I've got to, there we go. So I leave that alone, and I take the belt down to where I want to go in the front, and you have to visualize that it's rounding, it's curving around this way, so I'm going to take off some more until I'm behind the hand here. Do that on both sides. Now down here, the grain direction I want to carve in is going this way. So I was able to go up into the belt. So first I scored it, and then I can use a 1 or a 3 chisel to get up in there. Problem is I can't do that with this part because the grain's going the wrong way. This is going to chip off on me. So what I need to do is set in with the veiner on the top, and then what I'm going to have to do is go kind of cross grain and angling up this way a little bit. So for that I'm using a kind of a slicing cut like that. Okay, so that is a cutting technique that I find very useful, going cross grain. Gotta have a sharp tool, but I'm rounding it, I'm pushing with my other thumb. Oops, watch the tip. A little too deep there. But Remember to check this. Okay, good. I'm still good. I still have quite a bit of material here, so I can take a lot of that off with this tool. So now I know that I have a pretty good fit now. So I'm going to mark this, and I know that I want to stay away from that area. So this is a no carve area in here other than to just smooth it out. So now before I come back again, I'm going to finish getting this body roughed out. I'm going to finish the belt, carry it all the way around, get the arms down there and establish this part of the body. It has to come out here and here, still quite a bit. And just get this whole body roughed out. Then I'm going to take the whole thing, I'll go back to the head, the feet, the body, and start carving details.